I, 38M, am the founder and CEO of a successful tech startup that I established 10 years ago. The journey has been nothing short of a Silicon Valley cliché, from coding in our tiny apartment living on ramen noodles, to now having over 200 employees and a valuation that would have seemed impossible back then. My wife Lisa, 48F, and I have been married for 15 years, and we have 2 children, Avery, 15F, and Jake, 12M. Lisa works as a middle manager at a large tech corporation, and until last week, I thought she had been my biggest supporter through all the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. Looking back at our early days together makes this betrayal even more painful. When I first met Lisa, I was a junior developer with big dreams but little else. She was already established in her career, working at one of the major tech companies. Despite the age gap, we connected instantly over our shared passion for technology and innovation. She saw potential in me that others missed, and her belief in me became the foundation of both our relationship and my entrepreneurial journey. Those first few years were brutal but meaningful. We lived in a cramped studio apartment in a less than ideal neighborhood. I would code late into the night while working my day job, and Lisa would bring me coffee at 3 a.m., listening patiently to my endless talks about user interfaces and market strategies. We survived on her salary while I poured everything into the company. She watched our savings drain away as I chased my dreams, but never once complained. Instead, she helped me refine my pitches to investors and even used her industry connections to help us get our first major client. Every milestone felt like our shared victory. When we finally moved into our first real office, we celebrated by ordering the same cheap takeout we'd lived on during the startup days, but this time we ate it in our new conference room, sitting on the floor and dreaming about the future. Lisa was there for all of it: the failed iterations, the successful launches, the nerve-wracking investor meetings, and the late-night crisis management sessions. She became known as the startup wife among our early employees, always bringing homemade snacks to the office during crunch times and helping organize company events. The transformation of our company was gradual but steady. We grew from a team of 5 working out of a converted garage to over 200 employees across 3 offices. Our product evolved from a simple app to a comprehensive enterprise solution used by Fortune 500 companies. Through it all, Lisa remained my anchor, or so I thought. Looking back now, I can see how things began to change about 3 years ago, right when our company hit its first major growth phase. As we scaled up, I had to spend more time on strategic partnerships and investor relations. The days of Lisa and me brainstorming together over midnight coffee became rare. She started taking on more responsibilities at her own company, and our synchronized schedules became increasingly misaligned. We were both succeeding in our careers, but something in our relationship was quietly slipping away. I just never imagined how far it had slipped until last week. Last week, everything imploded in the most modern way possible, through a social media notification. I was sitting in our home office when I accidentally saw an Instagram DM notification pop up on Lisa's phone, which she'd left on the desk. The message preview was from Daniel, 24M, a new hire who joined my company 3 months ago as a junior developer. What I saw in that brief preview made my blood run cold. What's particularly ironic is that Daniel is a tech influencer with around 100,000 followers, and I was actually proud when we managed to hire him. I thought having a social media savvy developer would help us attract younger talent. He's been creating content about startup culture and tech innovation, gaining substantial followers in the tech community. Now I realize he's been using our company's brand image and insider information to boost his social media presence while sleeping with my wife. When I confronted Lisa about the message, she was surprisingly composed. Instead of denying it or appearing remorseful, she calmly told me that she and Daniel had been seeing each other for almost 2 years, long before he joined our company. She said she felt more alive than ever with him, and that our marriage had become nothing more than a comfortable routine. The way she justified it made me physically sick. She talked about how Daniel understood her emotional needs in ways I never did, how his youth and energy made her feel vibrant again. What really struck me was her complete lack of remorse. She spoke about betraying our 15-year marriage as if she was discussing a simple software update, something necessary for optimal performance. When I asked about our children, she said Avery and Jake were old enough to understand, and that she was done pretending to be happy in our marriage. She had it all planned out, She would move in with Daniel, start fresh, and expected me to be mature about it, for the sake of the kids. The tech industry is all about disruption and innovation, but at that moment, I felt like my whole world had come to a standstill. Everything I thought I knew about my life, my marriage, and my family was being rewritten without my consent. The very technology that had built our life together was now showing me its destruction. As the initial shock wore off, my analytical mind kicked in. I started digging into their digital footprint, and what I found was staggering. Daniel had been documenting everything on social media, subtle hints about their relationship hidden in plain sight. His day in the life at a startup content was filled with instances where he revealed far more about our operations than any employee should. There were photos of work meetings that were actually their dates, stories about mentorship that were thinly veiled references to their affair. Lisa had even appeared in some of his TikTok videos about workplace culture, their inside jokes and shared glances now painfully obvious. The more I investigated, the more evidence I uncovered. Our company's network logs showed Lisa accessing confidential documents late at night, followed by Daniel posting suspiciously accurate industry insights the next day. Their Slack messages, ostensibly about work, were filled with double meanings and subtle flirtations. They'd been using our company's collaboration tools to coordinate their betrayal, leaving a timestamped trail of their deception. That evening, after Lisa left to stay at a hotel, my sister Kate, 42F, who works as a corporate lawyer, came over immediately when I called her. What shocked me was my children's reaction. Instead of being devastated, Avery and Jake displayed a level of digital awareness that made me simultaneously proud and heartbroken. Avery had already documented all of Lisa and Daniel's social media interactions, methodically saving everything to a cloud drive. Jake, who inherited my interest in programming, had written a simple script to track and archive all their public posts. The impact on our company culture has been significant but subtle. Other employees have started coming forward with stories of how Daniel used their work for his content without permission, how Lisa gave him special treatment in meetings and projects. Our HR department is dealing with multiple complaints about their inappropriate behavior in the office. What they thought was a secret affair had actually been the subject of office gossip for months. My sister Kate has been instrumental in helping me see this situation clearly. While what Lisa and Daniel did is personally devastating, they've also potentially compromised our company's intellectual property. Their social media trail isn't just evidence of an affair, it's documentation of corporate policy violations and potential breaches of confidentiality agreements. Their perfect digital love story is actually a record of their professional misconduct. The hardest part has been maintaining my professional composure. As CEO, I can't let this personal crisis affect our operations. Every morning, I walk into our office, pass by Daniel's desk, and have to act like my world hasn't been shattered. I sit in executive meetings, making strategic decisions while knowing that some of our confidential discussions might end up as content on his social media. Kate has been staying with us, helping me plan our next steps carefully. She's made me realize that I don't need to stoop to their level for revenge. The evidence of their professional misconduct is damning enough. Daniel's carefully curated image as a tech insider is built on stolen information and breached confidentiality. Lisa's reputation in the industry will be severely damaged once the extent of her involvement becomes clear. The tech world is all about disruption and innovation, but some things never change, actions have consequences, and the digital age means those consequences leave a trail that can't be erased. I've built my company on principles of integrity and innovation. Lisa and Daniel chose to exploit that for their own gain, and now they'll face the repercussions of those choices. I'm consulting with my legal team about the next steps, but I know one thing for certain: I won't let their betrayal destroy what I've built. My children and my company deserve better than that. Lisa might have chosen to throw away our marriage for a younger man, but she severely underestimated the consequences of doing so in the age of social media and digital footprints. The support from my children has been my saving grace through all of this. Instead of being broken by their mother's betrayal, they've shown remarkable resilience and maturity. They understand the tech world they've grown up in, and they're helping me navigate this crisis in ways I never expected. It's ironic that the digital savviness I always encouraged in them is now helping us document and deal with their mother's infidelity. Would appreciate any advice or similar experiences, especially from others who've dealt with infidelity in the tech industry. There's something uniquely painful about having your personal and professional life invaded this way. Update 1: It's been a week since my original post, and things have developed faster than I expected. First, I want to thank everyone who commented and sent messages of support. Your advice about documenting everything and being strategic rather than emotional has been invaluable. With Kate's guidance, we've implemented a comprehensive plan. We discovered that Daniel had been using company Wi-Fi to upload his insider content during work hours. Our IT team's audit revealed that he accessed confidential presentations about upcoming product launches, which mysteriously appeared as predictions on his TikTok channel. The most damning evidence came when we found Lisa had been using her corporate email to share internal documents with Daniel's personal account. The investigation revealed something unexpected: Daniel has been doing this at his previous jobs too. 3 former employers reached out after seeing his social media content, recognizing their confidential information in his posts. Kate says this pattern of behavior significantly strengthens our legal position. It's not just about my company anymore, it's about a systematic abuse of corporate trust. Avery surprised me yesterday by showing me a TikTok video compilation she created. She tracked all the times Daniel subtly referenced his relationship with Lisa in his content, the mentor he kept talking about, the industry veteran who was guiding him. There were even background glimpses of Lisa in his office tour videos, carefully staged to look accidental. My daughter's digital literacy turned out to be our secret weapon. Jake has been channeling his feelings into coding. He created a simple analytics tool that tracks engagement patterns on Daniel's posts, revealing how he timed his insider insights with our company's confidential meetings. The data shows a clear correlation between his viral posts and our internal project timelines. I'm amazed by how my kids are turning their pain into productive action. The office dynamics have shifted dramatically. Several employees came forward with screenshots of inappropriate Slack messages between Lisa and Daniel. They'd been so careless, using company communication channels to plan their meetings and share inside jokes. HR has compiled a substantial file of workplace policy violations. What's particularly satisfying is watching Daniel's influencer facade crumble. Some of his followers have started questioning the authenticity of his startup expertise. A tech news website is investigating claims about his misuse of confidential information from multiple companies. His carefully curated image of a young tech prodigy is unraveling, post by post. Lisa seems to be realizing the gravity of her actions. She tried to access her work accounts at her company, only to find herself locked out pending an investigation. Apparently, sharing confidential information with her young lover violated multiple clauses in her employment contract. Her professional reputation, built over decades, is crumbling faster than Daniel's follower count. Kate has been exceptional through all this. She's coordinating with our corporate legal team and Lisa's company's HR department. The evidence suggests that their affair potentially compromised both companies' intellectual property. What started as personal betrayal has evolved into a serious professional ethics violation. The most unexpected development has been the support from the tech community. Several other startup founders reached out, sharing similar experiences with social media personalities exploiting their companies for content. We're discussing creating guidelines for responsible tech influencing and stronger NDAs for employees with significant social media presence. Daniel's latest posts have become increasingly desperate. He's trying to paint himself as a victim of corporate censorship, but his followers aren't buying it. The comments sections are filled with people calling out his unprofessional behavior. It's fascinating watching his digital empire collapse in real time. I'm actually grateful for how public their betrayal was. Every post, every tweet, every TikTok video they created is now evidence of their misconduct. In trying to build Daniel's social media presence, they created an undeniable record of their ethical and professional failures. The kids are handling this better than I expected. Avery has become quite analytical about the situation, treating it like a case study in personal branding gone wrong. Jake is more interested in the technical aspects, particularly in how digital footprints can reveal patterns of behavior. They're turning this painful experience into valuable life lessons about integrity in the digital age. Moving forward, we're implementing stricter social media policies at the company. Employee contracts are being updated to specifically address content creation and confidentiality in the age of social media influencers. This experience has taught us that traditional NDAs need to evolve to cover new forms of information sharing. I'll update again when there are more developments. For now, I'm focusing on my kids and my company, leaving Lisa and Daniel to deal with the professional tsunami they've created. It turns out that in the tech world, Karma has a very efficient digital delivery system. Update 2. It's been 2 weeks since my last update, and the situation has evolved in ways I never anticipated. The most significant development is that Daniel's carefully crafted influencer persona has completely imploded. His attempt to control the narrative backfired spectacularly when he posted a lengthy My Truth video about the situation. In his video, he tried to paint himself as a young innovator being persecuted by old-guard tech executives. However, he made the crucial mistake of including details about multiple companies' internal operations. Within hours, legal teams from 3 different tech firms contacted us about potential intellectual property violations. His attempt at damage control turned into a legal liability goldmine. What's fascinating is how quickly the tech community turned against him. Former colleagues from his previous jobs started sharing stories about similar patterns of behavior, using confidential information for content, manipulating workplace relationships for social media clout. Each new revelation has been destroying his credibility in real time. Lisa's professional world is crumbling even faster. Her company discovered she had been sharing confidential market analysis with Daniel, who used it to create prediction on content for his social media. She's been suspended pending a full investigation, and her industry reputation is in tatters. Several of her professional connections have publicly distanced themselves from her. The internal changes at our company have been substantial. We've implemented a comprehensive social media policy overhaul, which is now being cited as a model by other tech firms. Our employees have been surprisingly supportive, with many sharing how uncomfortable they felt about Daniel's constant content creation in the workplace. Avery and Jake continue to amaze me with their resilience. Last night, Avery showed me a spreadsheet she created tracking the decline in engagement on Daniel's social media posts. The data shows a clear correlation between his truth video and his losing nearly 40% of his followers. Jake, meanwhile, has been helping our IT team develop better monitoring tools for social media activity on company devices. The most unexpected support has come from Lisa's own family. Her sister reached out to apologize, revealing that Lisa had tried to justify her actions by claiming I had emotionally neglected her during the company's growth. However, years of social media posts from Lisa herself contradicted this narrative, showing her bragging about our company's success and her role in it. Kate's legal strategy has been brilliant. Instead of attacking them directly, we've simply let their own digital footprint do the damage. Every attempt they've made to defend themselves has only exposed more unprofessional behavior and confidentiality breaches. Their digital trail has become their own worst enemy. Daniel's recent attempts to pivot his content strategy have been almost comedic. He's tried rebranding himself as a whistleblower, exposing toxic startup culture, but his previous posts celebrating the same culture have come back to haunt him. The internet never forgets, and his followers have been quick to point out these contradictions. The professional consequences have extended beyond just Lisa and Daniel. Their actions have sparked a larger conversation in the tech industry about the intersection of social media influence and professional ethics. Several major tech companies have reached out to discuss implementing similar protective measures in their own organizations. Looking ahead, Kate suggests we're in an excellent position for any legal proceedings. The evidence of professional misconduct is overwhelming, and their attempts at damage control have only strengthened our case. However, watching their reputations crumble through their own actions has been more satisfying than any legal victory could be. Perhaps the most valuable lesson from all this has been about digital accountability. Every post, every like, every share leaves a permanent record. In trying to build their perfect online narrative, Lisa and Daniel created an undeniable chronicle of their betrayal. It's a powerful reminder that in the digital age, the truth has a way of surfacing through the very platforms people use to hide it. Update 3. 3 weeks into this situation, and the consequences for Lisa and Daniel have escalated beyond anything I could have expected. The most dramatic development came when Daniel's private Discord server was leaked by one of his moderators. The server contained thousands of messages where he and Lisa openly discussed using my company's information to build his brand. The Discord leak revealed something more disturbing. Daniel had been running similar schemes at multiple tech companies simultaneously. He had created a network of inside informants, including Lisa, who would feed him confidential information in exchange for social media promotion. This revelation turned what seemed like a personal betrayal into an industry scandal. Lisa's attempt to salvage her reputation led to an embarrassing incident at a major tech conference. During her presentation about innovation in mature tech companies, the audience started posting screenshots from Daniel's leaked Discord messages. She left the stage mid-session, and the video has become a cautionary tale in tech circles. The industry response has been swift. Several major tech publications have published investigative pieces about influencer industrial espionage, using Daniel's case as their primary example. His scheme of trading company secrets for social media fame has become a warning story in corporate training sessions. Their separate attempts to blame each other backfired spectacularly. Lisa posted a lengthy Medium article claiming Daniel had manipulated her, only to have him respond with saved Instagram DMs showing she was the one who initially proposed using company information for his content. Kate's strategic patience has paid off brilliantly. Rather than taking immediate legal action, we let them dig their own graves through increasingly desperate attempts at damage control. Each new post, each attempt at explanation, only served to expose more of their misconduct. The corporate response has evolved beyond our company. Several major tech firms have implemented what they're calling the Daniel Protocol, stricter guidelines for employees with significant social media followings. Our experience has inadvertently sparked a broader conversation about digital ethics in the workplace. Daniel's last-ditch attempt to monetize his remaining influence through a paid Discord server about tech industry secrets lasted less than 48 hours before being shut down. His follower count continues to plummet as more evidence of his systematic information trading comes to light. The technology community's response has been both supportive and proactive. We've been invited to help develop industry guidelines for managing employee social media presence. Their story is becoming a fundamental part of corporate training about digital ethics and professional responsibility. Update 4: 1 month has passed since my initial post, and the situation has reached its final resolution in ways I never imagined. The corporate investigation has concluded, leading to both Lisa and Daniel's permanent blacklisting from major tech companies. Their downfall has become a cautionary tale in Silicon Valley. The most satisfying development came from Daniel's former followers. They've turned his hashtag into a platform for exposing similar cases of corporate espionage through social media. The term "pulling a Daniel" has become tech industry slang for exploiting inside information for social media fame. Lisa's professional life has completely imploded. After her disastrous conference appearance, her previous employers conducted audits of her tenure, discovering a pattern of sharing confidential information with industry influencers. Her career has become a warning story in corporate training sessions. Our company has emerged stronger, with new security protocols that are being adopted across the industry. Jake's monitoring tool has been refined and is now being packaged as a corporate security product. Avery's research project about social media ethics won first place and has been featured in industry blogs. Daniel's final attempt at redemption backfired spectacularly. His A Truth in Tech podcast lasted only hours before being flooded with clips from his own Discord server showing his deliberate exploitation of corporate information. His remaining sponsors dropped him immediately. The industry response has exceeded expectations. Major tech companies have created a joint task force to address social media influence and corporate espionage. Our experience has become a foundational case study in their training materials. In a final twist of irony, Lisa and Daniel's relationship crumbled under the pressure. Their last public interaction was a heated Twitter exchange where they tried to blame each other for their downfall. The thread has been preserved by tech journalists as a perfect example of how not to handle a professional crisis. Looking ahead, we're focusing on rebuilding and innovation. My children have shown remarkable resilience, turning a painful experience into valuable lessons about integrity in the digital age. Sometimes the best revenge is simply letting people face the natural consequences of their actions. Thank you, Reddit community, for all your support and advice throughout this journey. Your insights helped me navigate this crisis with dignity and strategic thinking. Special thanks to those who shared similar experiences. You helped me feel less alone during the darkest moments.